Hi, my name is Dr. Nitin. Today I'm going to start a series of multiple choice questions in cardiology. In this video, I will discuss some questions from arrhythmia section. The first question is, which of the following channel mutation is seen in Brugada syndrome? A. Voltage gated sodium channel. B. L-type calcium channel. C. SCN5A encoded sodium channel. Or D. Potassium channel. And the correct answer is C, that is SCN5A encoded sodium channel. Some comments on Brugada syndrome. Brugada syndrome is an autosomal dominant genetic disorder. It is a cause of ventricular arrhythmias in structurally normal heart. There is a loss of function genetic mutation in cardiac sodium channels that are SCN5A, and there is functional phase 2 re-entry which leads to ventricular arrhythmias in Brugada syndrome. In ECG of the Brugada syndrome, there is incomplete right bundle branch block, and coved ST segment elevations are seen in anterior chest leads. Whereas in type 2 Brugada syndrome, there is saddleback appearance of ST segment. This is how you can identify Brugada syndrome on ECG. Type 1 Brugada with ST elevations of more than 10 mm has a very high risk of sudden cardiac death. Brugada syndrome is more common in men compared to women. Arrhythmic events are more common during night and at the time of sleep. These events generally do not occur at the time of exertion. The ECG changes in Brugada syndrome can be dynamic. They can come and go and can be provoked with prokinamide challenge test. Let's move on to second question. Entrainment is a feature of re-entry, automaticity, triggered activity, or all of the above. Correct answer is re-entry. Entrainment is a feature of re-entrant tachycardias. Tachyarrhythmias can occur because of one of these three mechanisms. First is enhanced automaticity. Second is triggered activity. It is also called as after depolarization. And third is re-entry. Re-entry occurs due to presence of excitable gap. And entrainment is a feature of re-entrant tachycardia. In re-entrant tachycardia circuit, there is presence of a scar which is non-excitable. Around that scar, there is a wave of depolarization. In the same circuit, some part of the myocardium has repolarized and it is excitable again. This part is called excitable gap. This is the circuit of the re-entrant tachycardia. Wave of depolarization moves along with excitable gap. Entrainment is defined as continuous resetting of a re-entrant tachycardia by each of a series of consecutive beats of a pacing train. So when we pace from an EP catheter, the impulse enters the tachycardia circuit, it resets the tachycardia, and again we give another impulse, it also resets the tachycardia. So this is continuous resetting of the re-entrant tachycardia. This is called entrainment. So entrainment is a feature of re-entrant tachycardias only. Let's move on to third question. A 65-year-old asymptomatic female presents with abnormal ECG, which shows right bundle branch block and left anterior fascicular block. Which of the following is an indication to implant a permanent pacemaker in this patient? A. HV interval more than 60 milliseconds on EPS. B. Presence of alternating bundle branch block. C. PR interval more than 200 milliseconds. Or D. All of the above. And the correct answer to this question is presence of alternating bundle branch block. Alternating bundle branch block in the setting of bifascicular and trifascicular block even in asymptomatic patients, is a sign of advanced conduction system disease, and it is an indication for implantation of a pacemaker. In this ECG, we can see left bundle branch block is alternating with right bundle branch block. In patients with bundle branch block, his bundle recordings can occasionally be helpful in identifying patients at high risk for progression to high-grade AV block. The finding of a markedly prolonged HV interval, that is more than 100 milliseconds during EP study, is believed to indicate a high risk for progression to advanced AV block. It is a marker of infrahesion conduction system disease. And in such cases also, prophylactic permanent pacing is recommended. The criteria for markedly prolonged HV interval is more than 100 milliseconds, not more than 60 milliseconds as given in one of the options. Coming to question number 4, all of the following are sodium channel blockers except A. Flecainide, B. Procainamide, C. Disopyramide, D. Sotalol. And the correct answer is D. Sotalol. Sotalol is a class 3 antiarrhythmic drug that blocks potassium channels. In addition, it also exhibits non-selective beta blocking activity. It does not have sodium channel blocking properties. Flecainide is a sodium channel blocker and is a class 1C antiarrhythmic drug. Procainamide and disopyramide are class 1A antiarrhythmic drugs and inhibit sodium channels. They also inhibit potassium channel at relatively lower concentrations. Coming to our last question, which of the following is not a characteristic of right ventricular outflow tract PVCs? A. Left bundle branch block configuration in V1. B. Inferiorly directed axis. C. Early precordial transition. Or D. Negativity in leads AVR and AVL. Correct answer to this question is C. Early precordial transition. Most commonly, idiopathic premature ventricular complexes arise from right ventricular outflow tract. And they have a left bundle branch block configuration in lead V1 with an inferiorly directed axis and tall positive QRS complexes in leads 2, 3 and AVF. Leads AVR and AVL are negative, suggesting a superior origin at the left or right outflow tract. And there is a late precordial transition as compared to native QRS in RVOT PVCs. And these PVCs may be suppressed by anesthesia, but they are sometimes inducible with isoprenaline infusion or rapid ventricular pacing. In this ECG, we can see frequent premature ventricular complexes. They are coming as ventricular bigeminy. VPCs have left bundle branch block pattern as we can see in lead V1. They have late transition. Transition is occurring at V4. QRS axis is inferior. QRS is positive in 2, 3 and AVF. And QRS is negative in leads AVR and AVL. So all these features are suggestive that PVCs are arising from RVOT. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to watch similar videos, then you may subscribe to this channel. Thank you.